Hey, this is Dr. Scott Watson with a video to show you 3 ways to create a comping part in a DAW, in a Digital Audio Workstation. So first of all, what is comping? Well, comping is an abbreviation for accompanying it. And accompanying is basically sounding out chord tones in a rhythmic pattern. 2 common instruments that are used for comping in both popular folk and jazz music would be things like a piano, a keyboard, comping the chords that are accompanying an instrumentalist or a vocalist. And then also a guitar strumming the chords. The 3 ways we're going to demonstrate in this video are MIDI recording a keyboard, that will be 1, and we can do that both at a slow speed for keyboard players who aren't as proficient, or we could do it at full speed if you're a keyboard player who is able to do that. We're also going to program the notes in a notation app and then export that as a MIDI file and drop that into a DAW. So that would be somebody who isn't able to play keyboard at all, but they could program the notes. Sometimes that's called step recording. And then the 3rd way we're going to look at creating a comping part is actually to have a guitar and audio record. When we're doing the MIDI recording, we'll be using either a small keyboard like this, or we'll be using a full-size keyboard. Doesn't matter. When we're doing the programming, we're going to use Finale, but we could really use any notation app. And then when we do the guitar audio recording, we're going to bring the guitar in through an interface like this. We'll plug in the guitar cable into our interface and then have the guitar player play in real time. Okay, let's get started. For the MIDI recording with the keyboard, I have a lead sheet, and I'll be using that as I play in the chords. I've set up in a DAW a grand piano track, and that's what I'll be playing. As I play my keyboard, it'll be playing the notes into the DAW. The other tracks you're going to hear are stems, or they're basically pre-existing tracks that play the bass and the drums and some of the other things that I want to have along with the keyboard. Okay, so got my lead sheet ready here. Going to just give myself a 4-beat count off, and then we'll start playing it. And I'll be playing it in real time, although I will demonstrate how to do it slower. So here we go. 2, 3, 4. And I'm not going to do the whole song. I think we'll stop it here. Let's go a little further. All right, you get the idea. Okay. So now I've got my tracks in my DAW. Right, we can edit it. I could double click here, open up the edit window if I want to make any changes to some notes that I happen to miss. I mean, that's all possible. We can go back and listen to it. So here we are. Look, Ma, no hands, right? And I can mix it. Maybe the piano's too loud, so I'll pull it back. Okay, and I did just want to show you that I didn't have to use the full-size keyboard. I could have used a smaller keyboard like this, which also, plays the notes as I hit the keyboard here. The software instrument is responding. So let me just record a little bit of our lead sheet for this song, and we'll delete what I had already recorded. Let me get rid of that. Now I'm going to be using a lot less notes. I have to judiciously choose my notes, but yeah, I could actually do it. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Three, 4, 2, 3, 4. So again, I'm not going to go ahead and do the whole track, but you get the idea. Even with the small keyboard, I can play in the tracks. Now, the last thing I wanted to show you with the idea of playing in with the keyboard is what if I can't play at the tempo that I want to record? Well, then we slow down the tempo. So here in the DAW, I'm going to change my beats per minute, which was 76. I'm going to change it all the way down to 50 beats per minute. Let me go back over to the full-size keyboard. And I'll play the same track, but as if I need a little bit more time to think of the chords. Let me go back and delete the track I just recorded with the smaller keyboard, and now we're back to the full-size keyboard, but at a slower tempo. 1, 2. So a lot of time to think of our notes. Okay, you get the idea. So we could record the whole track at that slower speed. Then the magic happens, of course, when we play it back at full speed. It sounds like I was a better keyboard player than I am, right? Okay, so that is MIDI recording our keyboard comping to the chord changes of our song. Okay, let's move on to method number 2 for creating a comping part. This method will be working in Finale. Really could work in any notation app. You're going to program the music there, and then we're going to export it as a standard MIDI file, as a MIDI file out of the notation app, and then drop that MIDI file into our DAW. Okay, you're looking at Finale right now, and this is the lead sheet doc. And to that lead sheet, just because it would be easier, I'm going to go ahead and add a piano part, and I'll just use the lead sheet chords on the page. So let me go ahead and add the piano right now. Just did it. All right. Okay, and I'll be using Finale's speedy entry. That's the method in Finale where I can select the notes and then take my time, selecting a shortcut number. For instance, this F chord, I want it to be for 2 beats, so I'll hit the number 6. And then this G add 4 for 2 beats, the number 6. But this next chord I want for 4 beats, so I'm going to use the number 7, which is a whole. I'm going to do that again, half note, whole note. All right, and then I have to do the same thing for my left hand. I'm going to play half note, whole note, and then half note, whole note. Let me just put in maybe a few more measures just so we can make the point when we go into the DAW. So here's the right hand. I'm going to just play a whole note, F chord, whole note, G7 chord, whole note, F chord. Here a half note, and then another half note tied to a half note. There we go. So that's my right hand. For my left hand, I'll do a whole note, then a whole note, then a whole note, then here, half note. Actually, let's be a little fancy here. Let's make it a dotted quarter, and then put in a few 16ths, walking it up to that C. All right. So now I've got about 8 measures of music, the intro and the beginning of the first verse. And if we wanted to see what this would sound like in Finale, right, we could have Finale play the parts that we've just programmed. There it is. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, actually, I have an error in there. Let me fix. And that's why you play things, right? It helps you find your errors. Got that wrong there. Okay, we're going to get rid of this vocal line, the lead line, because if we keep it there, it'll give us more in the MIDI file than we want. We just want the piano notes in the MIDI file. So using the staff tool, delete staves and reposition. Now all that is left is only the piano part. And now we're ready to go to the export as a MIDI file. Let's give it a name, comping. Let's just call it comping. We'll save it on the desktop so it's easy to find. And format 1, right? We want format 1, not a tempo map, not format 0. Okay, and Finale does its thing and exports the MIDI file. Let's go out and look on the desktop, and there it is, comping .midi. That's what we wanted. So let's go ahead and open up the DAW. And what I'm going to do is just drag and drop that piano MIDI file into here, the one we just created. And we have to line it up, so it starts right where the piece starts. Great. Let's hear what our programmed comping part sounds like. 2, 3, and here's the notes. And again, we might want to mix that a little bit, bring out the piano more, bring our mandolin down or something like that. But we've got the notes. That's the point. So that is our second way of creating a comping part. If you can't play piano and you can't play guitar, you could program a piano part. Okay, to lay down the guitar track, I asked my good friend Reed to help us out. Thanks so much, Reed, for being here. And here's him comping the track.